今日好高興咧，有呢個 Professor Jürgen Moltmann 莫特曼教授咧接受我哋嘅訪問。莫特曼教授可能係二次世界大戰之後德國一個影響力最大嘅一個神學家，所以今日咧我哋好高興可以咧同佢傾下偈，聽下佢嘅一啲嘅智慧。Professor Moltmann, thank you for agreeing to have this interview with us today. I will start with a more personal question. You've told us that to be a theologian, curiosity is very important. Curiosity is the beginning of theology. I'm wondering, you are 92 years old now. You've been writing books, you've been publishing books since 1964. How do you keep your curiosity for 50 years? How do you stay that young in your curiosity?
I'm always curious about the truth. And I'm a truth-seeking person. And I'm in a community of truth seekers. And the University of Tübingen and over the faculties, not only at the theological faculty, but also with the faculty of law and the faculty of medicine. I have friends in all faculties.
Okay.
And we are seeking truth and justice and life.
Okay. So may I ask, further ask you, many young people, when they enter seminary, they have a lot of curiosity. They want to know the truth and so on, so on. But sometimes after 10 years serving the Lord, they kind of get disillusioned. So they start get very pragmatic, just get the things done, So ministries become just a job. What would your encouragement or advice to young people, how do you keep this curiosity going, as you enter into ministry?
Fall in love with the new.
Okay.
The new day, the new year, the new song, and the new creation.
Okay, new creation. Okay.
And so God provides for you on every day a surprise. If you are open to surprises, you will see it, and you are on routine, every day is the same. You are not hoping for surprises.
Okay.
So wake up every morning for a new day.
Wow. That's not easy. Wake up every morning and welcome the new day. Okay. So thank you for the advice. Now I would like to go to something that relate more to the society and to the Hong Kong situation. You talk a lot about justice, in your books and social concern and so on. The church in Hong Kong or in China, for that matter, is a minority. And when we talk about issues like justice, like you said, sometimes it's dangerous, not just personally, but for the church too. If I'm the leader of the church and I speak out against some injustice of the government, I may get silenced and my church may get silenced too. So it's danger to me and to the church. So when we see some problems, injustice in the society, people have to balance about, I speak out, but I may risk being silenced. Sometimes if I don't speak out that explicitly, I can kind of serve people longer. I can kind of, still have my church, go on, and so on. So where's the balance between, speaking out the prophetic voice and keeping a place so that I can still serve the Lord and serve the people?
Pray
Okay.
and tell the truth to God.
Okay.
And tell the truth to the government in love, in respect. For the government is from God, and they will listen to you if they are not afraid of you overthrowing the government.
Okay. Okay.
But during the confessing church in Nazi Germany, the confessing church prayed, telling the truth of the persecution of the Jews to God, and well, then you are used to tell the truth on the streets.
Okay, you talk a lot about telling the truth. And in your theology of hope after the Second World War, in those books, at least it seems to me that you seem to assume the content of the Christian hope is kind of common sense. I mean, you kind of want justice and peace and equality, all those things are just assume that people want it. It's just, it doesn't materialize sometimes. But I think in our age right now, the so-called Enlightenment liberal ideal sometimes is fading away. Sometimes it seems like, whether in mainland China or in America today, people perceive the world as a dog-eat-dog world. So you need to be strong in order to protect yourselves. So the traditional ideal of equality or those type of things, they would think if it become a weakness to the society, then we don't talk about it. Strength is what we want. In this situation, do you think it's still a good thing to talk about hope, or what kind of hope should we talk about?
Greed, individualize every man for himself. We need solidarity with one another, and don't fall back to the unregulated capitalism. I'm a socialist and a Democrat, and I believe in the solidarity of humankind. And we need solidarity to overcome the dangers of humankind, the atomic threat. Didn't stop on the borders of America or Germany, and the climate change will endanger the humankind in 10 years at least. So we work together in the nations and between the nations to overcome the threats of humankind.
Okay.
This leads to the question whether humankind should be on Earth or not.
Okay.
We can vanish in a great atomic war in seconds. And we can vanish in decades if the climate change going on and on. So we believe that God became human and saying yes to humanity, and so we hope where the hopes vanish.
Okay. But you talk about solidarity. I think that it's very true we need solidarity, but I think in this point, it's particularly that we don't have solidarity. I mean, you have, for example, the US versus China, the trade war. You compete in everything. I mean, that kind of zero-sum game mentality is quite common today. How do we build up solidarity in this difficult time?
Where we are building solidarity up in the European community, and in politics we achieve solidarity on the national level in Germany, and in your country Christian congregations and communities practice solidarity with the sick and the lost and the poor. Christian congregations are famous for their solidarity and mercy.
Okay, so the church starts with building up solidarity among ourselves. Okay. Now, to continue this issue about the church and society, much of your theology, in a way, is addressing issues in the society. As a minority in the church, Chinese church, as a minority in the society, sometimes the society is not very interested to listen to the church, unlike the German situation, where the German church has been a leader in the society for a long time. The point is, why should the society care about what the church is saying? Church is such a small part of it. I mean, you are a Nobel Prize economist, I listen to you, but you are a church pastor. Why should the society bother to listen to you? How to respond to that?
The early church had a membership of 12.
Okay.
And spread around and made the prophetic voice listen. And the gospel and in solitary help. And the truth is not with the majority.
Okay.
The truth can be with minorities as well.
Okay. All right. So to follow up again, so people will ask, there are poor people in the world. So we ask the economists how to solve poverty, or we ask the sociologists, what are the social factors that lead people to be poor? So the question is, what is the distinctive voice of the church? I mean, what are something that we can contribute to the church? We can contribute to the society that an economist or sociologist or any other specialist discipline cannot do. What's so special about the church voice?
The personal encounter with the in Korea, for example, the missionaries are women, inviting people, counseling people, so person to person is the strength of minority churches. You should not take example of state churches in Germany or America.
All right.
You will find the way of Jesus Christ in China, and it will be your own way.
Okay. Our own way. Okay, so we have to find our own way.
Yeah, don't imitate.
Okay. All right. As we find our own way. Okay. Now, again, a lot of your theology is kind of addressing to the society at large. Your writing, you emphasize that atheist and the theist actually has a lot more commonality, than people would think. Now, there are other types of theology today that emphasize the distance between the church. The church is an alternate community. It has a separate discourse from the secular discourse, which seems to be quite different from the type of theology that you are doing. So I'm just wondering, okay, what do you see the discourse of the church versus discourse of the world? Are there a different kind of discourse that's come out from the church? How does it interact with the so-called the discourse of the secular world?
The New Testament calls this love.
Okay.
And brotherhood and sisterhood and solidarity without violence.
Okay.
And in the old Eastern German Republic, in real existing socialism, the churches were the places where people could speak freely and honor the truth.
Okay, speak freely and honor the truth. Okay, that's our main point. All right, now I want to focus more on the more pastoral issues. You emphasize the church to speak the truth without fear and so on. Of course, in some way, this is an ideal picture. A lot of in actuality, the church has a lot of different interests, and sometimes it doesn't speak out as freely as it should be, perhaps. And in Hong Kong's case, sometimes that leads to a lot of disillusions among the young people. They are saying, okay, the church wants to protect their own interest. The main concern of the church is to build a new, bigger church building and so on. So some of the young people are leaving the church, or they just have some internet church, just church through the internet and so on. So for those younger generation who feel that the church is too disappointing, too enmeshed with the existing powers, what would you say to those younger generations?
I'm only a guest in Hong Kong, and I don't know the situation of young people in Hong Kong, but I do know the young people in Germany.
Okay.
In Germany, I would like to say if you are disappointed by the church, hope in the kingdom of God.
Mm.
Thy kingdom come.
Okay.
And it is a kingdom of life and vitality and of freedom and justice and truth. So engage yourself and don't look at others.
Okay.
You will be disappointed. Disappoint not yourself.
Okay. So just try to persist in your faith.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. Let me ask you one question that, is a European question, but then it kind of reflects a little bit of what I said before about the struggle between different parties. In Europe, for example, Germany, in the past few years, has taken in a lot of refugees. It was, portrayed as an example of, charity. You take in the Syrian and other refugees. But of course, lately, there's also the other side of the coin is after the refugees have arrived, a minority, a very few of them, did something bad. And now then the society is getting very nervous, saying, those are foreigners, we need to protect our local people and so on. So take this as an example, how do you balance about, when you talk about solidarity, there's solidarity among us German or among us Hong Kong, and then there's solidarity with the whole world. How do you balance between the two?
Host the foreigners. It may be you host angels.
Maybe your what?
Angels.
Okay, angels. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like Abraham and Sarah.
Okay.
They hosted the 3 foreigners.
Okay.
And they revealed themselves as angels.
Okay. Wow. We need a step of faith to embrace this hope.
Beyond your ability, you are not demanded. Ultra posse nemo tenetur is in Old Latin word. Beyond your possibilities, you are not on duty to help the foreigners.
Okay.
If you destroy yourself because of love for the poor, there may be nobody to love them.
So some sense of protecting ourselves is needed. Okay. Yeah, but also expect to see an angel when a foreigner come. Okay, all right. I start with a more personal question. Let me end with a kind of a more personal question too. You are 92 now, okay? So actually it reflects our society is aging, okay? In Hong Kong that's the case too. People are not, having that many children, so the society is aging too. So the practical question the church is asking is for people in the older generation, however you define older, okay, whatever the older generation, the church is asking, what what can the older generation contribute? You know, in the past, the people retire, they relax, okay, but then there are so many older but still healthy people around us. So what do you think is the so-called the older generation can contribute to the church or to society these days?
Old and young does not count the years.
Okay.
Old and young are attitudes
Okay.
towards life.
All right.
And some young people look very old,
Okay.
and some old people are very young.
Like you, right? So you are Yungen means young, right? Is it Yungen? Your name does it have, with your name does it relate to young Yungen?
Jürgen.
No, Jürgen. No.
This is the Low German form of George.
George. Oh, it's
Yeah.
George. I don't know that. Okay. Oh,
And,
definitely. Okay.
In prison camp in Scotland, the Scottish worker called me Jory.
Oh, okay. All right. Let me ask a kind of bigger question, kind of a free question. Okay, you are very much associated with theology of hope. Okay, that's almost like a brand name. Okay, of course, God has many attributes. Love. You mentioned truth many times. You know, there are many so-called traditional we associate with divine attributes. Now, as we face as we are in the beginning of the 21st century, what themes, what attributes of God do you think is what we need the most today? You know, is this still the theme of hope, or if you were still a young man, what book you will write? You know, about God's attributes or God's character?
I would write a book on the life-giving spirit.
Oh, life-giving spirit. So you think that's
the spirit of life?
Okay.
Because so many people doesn't love life, and the terrorists of the Taliban said, "Your young people love life, our young people love death."
Oh.
And the death wish is very widespread. Love life and take care of life.
Love life. Oh, okay.
And with hope, I wrote a little treatise on patience of hope, which I learned during the sickness of my wife. Patience of love, patience of hope, patience of faith.
But sometimes that's precisely what we don't have, patience.
Yeah.
And people turn violence because they don't see any change. They want to change today, and whatever the method, even violence method, people take it.
Those who exercise patience have time.
Okay.
As those who run impatient have no time.
Okay.
And we are rich of time and faith.
Okay. All right. I think we are about time in this interview too. Thank you for your patience with us. Thank you again for the interview. Thank you.